okay, game over. Disappointing at times, but overall found positives in the game like that. We ended up going down 9 goals 10 64 to 14 goals 13 97. I think it was, first of all, a lot of excitement getting footy back, getting back into the routine. It's a 10:25 a.m. start here, and we had a nice group of Carlton supporters, and pretty quiet that first quarter. Pretty disappointing, to be honest. I thought we came out and we had a few little clean, exciting passages of play, which then eventuated into some sort of a forward kick, which was just grubby. And that was really the story of the first quarter, and it looked pretty ominous there, and it looked like the Tigers were going to really make a meal of the game, or make a meal of us. Second quarter, obviously, responded, and I spoke during the week about really wanting to see how we would respond when we were challenged. Richmond are a fantastic side. They're going to be right up there throughout the season. Again at the MCG as well, they're always going to be tough to beat there. And so, yeah, the way that we did respond in that second and third quarter was great. Unfortunately, it was far too late, and there's no excuses for that. The fourth quarter was interesting. Rance goes down with the knee, and all of a sudden they're down a defender, one of their best defenders, who really sets them up. And then I started thinking, well, we can take this game. There's no reason why we can't take this game, and it just never happened. The fourth quarter run never happened. There's a few things you can talk about there. Obviously, the first game back, fitness. It's hard to run a game out like that. Had this been round 15, maybe 14, we're very much match hardened. Do we run out that game better? I'm not sure, but the reality is we lost. We should be disappointed, with that. I know that we're in this growth phase, and we're looking for positive moments here and there. And overall, there were a lot of positives for certain individuals, and obviously some that were a little bit disappointing. But yeah, so I'll go through the team as they were named and just give them it's a bit of a live reaction. I haven't really had a chance to settle down and think about it too much, but I do want to catch this now while I'm having my thoughts about the game. So in the back line, Jared Garlett, very not a great showing from him at all. I don't want to take pot shots at him. He wasn't someone that I picked in my starting 22, and for reasons like what I saw tonight, again, obviously streaming it here, so not at the game, but I just found him out of position at times. I found him not attacking the ball hard enough at times, and I don't think he's in our best 22 right now. I think he needs to prove himself a little bit more. I know it's early days and it's one game, but I don't know if he's going to be in a back pocket. I personally would just prefer to see Jack play. I'd prefer to see Jack play in that back pocket spot. We talk about Garlett and his ability to be quick, and it didn't really show any of that. He had one little passage of play in the fourth quarter when the game was dead, where he took a mark, kicked it, played on, and received it. But yeah, I was bitterly disappointed with what he showed today. I'm going to give him a 3. Liam Jones, I thought Jones was really solid tonight. Someone who I spoke about previously about being a little bit mindful of his, he's a little bit unpredictable, but I thought he was a very solid defender for us tonight. Not too many silly mistakes. Thought he used the ball well when he had it relatively. So I'll give him a 7 start up. Plowman, I thought he was serviceable. He was okay. I thought he had a few moments that I didn't like in that first quarter, which a lot of them had, but I thought he played a lot better as that second, third, and fourth quarter went on. I'll give him a 6. Simo in the half back line, he's an experienced guy down there as always. Very consistent. I think he had the 27 touches in the end, and he was just patrolling back there. Not so prolific, and he wasn't so damaging with the ball. But he didn't, he was a reliable head down there when there was a bit of chaos. So I'll give Simo a 7. Wiedering, really happy with what I saw from Jacob tonight. It was footy. You have your ups, you have your downs, and what I found last year with Jacob is when he did have his downs, it seemed to get to him a little bit. So he had a few moments there that didn't go his way. Obviously giving away that first goal to Tom Lynch, wasn't really in a good position there, but he did a lot of good things throughout. got his body in the right positions. I thought he spoiled the ball well. He showed aggression, and he showed strength within his body. He had the confidence to take that game on and change direction, and knowing a tackle was coming. So I was pretty happy with Jacob. I'm going to give him an 8 for tonight's game. Daisy, I thought Daisy was pretty good. Won his fair share of the ball, and he kicked a goal as well. He had 27 and a goal. I mean, that's as much as you could really ask for from Dale Thomas. So I'm going to give him a 9. Again, he was cool, calm, collected. He had a few of those creative moments. He gave away a 50, which I thought was stiff. I thought it was just a real tough contest, and that's the kind of play that we need to see him making. So yeah, pretty happy with Daisy tonight. In the centre, Mark Murphy. I thought he started the game really well, and when we saw a little bit of what we've been talking about in the pre-season, getting him on the outside, getting him in positions where it can be that that last kick into the 50, and he used the ball pretty well. I thought he had a bit of a quiet patch in that second quarter. The rest of the team really lifted, and he seemed to not joining the party. But yeah, I thought he was pretty good throughout. Pretty happy with what I saw from Murph. I'll give him his 250th. I will give Murph. I'll give him a 7. Cripps, he's almost really hard to grade because he's that good. He's on another level, and you sort of sometimes think, oh, did he really have a good game? He wasn't as dominant, but he just gets the ball. He's too strong. It's like everyone around him knows that he's too strong, and he just goes at his own pace. So I thought he was excellent tonight. Really tough. Would have liked for him to hit the scoreboard, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Didn't really go forward. I didn't really notice him forward a lot at all tonight. So yeah, I mean, I'll give him that's a 9 for me. It was a really tough game, and I would think that he could probably be getting the 3 Brownlow votes, if not the 2. Zach Fisher was next. I thought Zach Fisher was good. I mean, he had the 22 touches and kicked a goal. He had a few things that he did which kind of annoyed me. He sort of felt himself coming under pressure, and he just sort of threw the ball in the boot and sort of kicked it forward. I don't know if it was just to get a stat. I don't know what it was, but he needs to be a little bit more composed there. Get a handball away, find a target. I don't like this banging on the boot type footy that we play, especially against a team like Richmond, who's set up so well. You've got Alex Rance behind the ball. You're playing into their hands when you do that. So that's something I want to see Fish work on, next week. But I did think he was, he was really good today. I'll give him a 7. Moving on to the half forward line, Dave Cunningham, Charlie Curnow, and Sam Walsh. So Cunners was really prolific in that first half. I believe he had 17 touches. He didn't really join the party in the second half, and he sort of had moments where you can just sort of see he's got the strength and he's got the ability to break away and really be damaging. He just, I don't know, it just sort of didn't click for him so much tonight. But I thought he was pretty good. So I'll give him a 6. Charlie Curnow, well, I mean, not much has to be said. I thought that was probably the worst game of his career to date, and it's going to happen. He hasn't really had a stinker like that before. I just thought everything that went near him just turned into it was pretty putrid. But young fella, he's building. Charlie Curnow at 27 in the peak of his life. We're going to look back and he's going to have gone through these times. So he'll respond. Don't know if he's carrying something, but he didn't look anything like the Charlie Curnow that we've seen in the last 3-4 seasons. So yeah, I'll give him a 3, but really backing him in to bounce back. Sam Walsh, first up game, kid's a freak. He's seriously a freak. 24 touches. I think he ran the most kilometres on the ground. He would have been first or second. It's a great effort from a youngster. He gut runs, he sprints, he's composed. He's only going to get better throughout the season, and if he just sort of continues on with what he's done today and sort of has a really consistent season, he'd have to be right up there for the rising star, if not a lock. So Sam Walsh, first up game, I'll give him an 8. Really happy with what I saw. Ed Curnow in the forward line. Yeah, I'm a little bit mindful of this role of his. He had a pretty good game. He had the 24 touches, and he had I think quite a few marks as well, which is a bit different. 12 marks from him as well. I thought he was really good. I think I want to see him be more of a scoring threat if he's going to be playing forward of centre. It's very important. So I'll give Ed a 7. but I'm just mindful of how this role is going to work out. I know the stats look good for him, but it's sort of a wait and see. I'm really interested to see how he sort of evolves himself with this new role. Mitch McGovern, I thought Mitch was solid. I thought he was really clean. He looked like a real veteran out there. Kicked a goal. Stats will say 11 touches. He wasn't fantastic for the entire game, but certain moments that really stood out for me. He's that relief kick down the line. He's got a good set of hands, and some of the balls that came below his knees, he was able to be really clean with them and get a handball out. So yeah, he looks like he's really going to build as the season goes, as we've suspected. So I'll give Mitch I'll give him a 6 first up. I want to see him. I have high expectations of him. He's a very senior player, and so yeah. But by no means was he poor. Alex Fasolo, obviously a lot's been said about his inclusion. I mean, I think he's in our best 22. You can probably tell that he's fit, but you can tell that he's not match fit. He doesn't have doesn't have the touch, and sort of found himself in and out of the contest. He had the 5 possessions and he kicked the goal, and it's really, for me, it's kind of like, well, that's kind of like a Cam Paulson type game. So I'd persist with him though. I'll give him a 5, maybe a 4 actually. Actually, he was pretty poor, so I'll give him a 4. But I do want to see him play next week, and I want to see us persist with him because I think he's got great talent for us. So the follower is Andy Phillips. Excellent game from Phillips. Did exactly what he needed to do, apart from go back and slot a goal. But yeah, took a few marks around the ground. He had the appetite for the contest, and Nankervis had a great game, and it's not like Nankervis is a bad player. So yeah, I thought Andrew Phillips was solid. I'll give him an 8, considering where he's come from. Paddy Dowd next up. Yeah, Paddy he had nice moments. He had the 21 touches. You can see that he's got a little bit more strength. His ability to really push his body through those tackles is looking good. I don't know, he sort of flies under the radar now. We've got so many other names around him now. You've got Sam Walsh and then Setterfield that we're talking about. And so he sort of, he flies up. But if he's going to give us 21 possessions a game this year, I'd take that for sure. So yeah, I'll give Paddy a 7. Samo, it was interesting. He had the 18 touches. I didn't really see him or notice him a lot in the first half. He lifted a little bit in the second. Maybe I've got my expectations a bit high, but I just expect Samo to be a bit better than what I saw tonight. I think he's ready to take a step up from what he was tonight. And obviously it's the first game, so he's got to get into it. But he was solid without being a major contributor. So Samo, I'll give him a 6. On the interchange bench, we've got Harry Mackay. He looked super. He really made the most of his chances. Looked good around the ground. Big, strong presence. And when he's going, and when Charlie's going, and when Mitch is going, there's going to be a game when they're all clicking. It's going to be really exciting to see. So Harry, I'll give Harry an 8. I was really happy with what I saw from him and his return. Nick Newman. That's as good as a debut as you could want from the club. 32 touches, 21 contested possessions. I mean, he really drove the ball off half back, went forward a little bit as well, and ran throughout the ground, throughout the midfield, and just looked composed. He looked like a guy who's, he looked like exactly what he is. He's a guy who's looking for opportunity. He backs his own talent in, and I thought he was excellent for us. He could have very well been our best tonight. I'm going to give him a 9. Michael Gibbons is next. I suspect with him being in this forward role, he's not going to impact games a lot with his ability to win the ball that we know he does have. But having said that, I thought he was solid in his little moments. He didn't have a lot of them, but when the ball was there and when he had to make a moment out of a situation, he did. Particularly that he sort of had that mark on the run. He didn't take it. Sort of nearly turned the ball over and then had a smother in that forward line. That's the kind of stuff that will keep him in the side. The possessions will come. He had 11 tonight. He's capable of getting to that 20 possession mark if he plays as a midfielder. So he's going to have to work out his role within the club and find a way to impact. So I'll give him a 6 first up. And finally, Will Setterfield. This kid, really like this kid. 21 years old, 3rd game, 24 touches. I don't think he ran the game out as well as what he will come the end of the season, but that's to be expected. I think for all of the players, round one's tough to get through, but particularly for him, he hasn't played in a full year. He's coming back. but he's got a lot of ability. What I like about Setterfield is he's a contested ball winner. He's always able to take the tackle on, get his hands free, and allow that tackle to come and then get a handball out. So he takes out that defender and he creates a 2-on-1 situation. So really impressed with Setterfield. I'm going to give him an 8 first up. So that's how I saw it. Really excited to get the season back up and running. Excited to see the boys. I know we lost by 33, but I thought we looked a lot better than what we did last year. In a weird way, I'm a little bit more satisfied with this than last year. Maybe that's with hindsight, knowing what happened after round 1 last year. But yeah, I thought we looked good. We've got to play 4 quarters. It's as simple as that. We can't have that first quarter happen again. Next week's an important game, because if we have a bad showing next week, it makes this week look really bad. So we need to respond. We need to, it's a winnable game. Charlie Dixon's out, Paddy Ryder, I'm not sure if he's out, but he's sore, and we've got the big tall forwards. They're going to trouble the Port Adelaide backline. Tom Jonas is there. He's obviously a really good player. Guys like Darcy Byrne-Jones are there, but we've got tall boys. So yeah, looking forward to it. What do you think? How did you rate the boys' performance tonight? Let me know in the comments.